Okay, and I'm doing a check since it's me in here today. We do, in fact, appear to have sound. We have sound? We have sound! Yay! So, yeah. Now, I haven't been in charge of the button pushing in a while, but I believe this is... Oh, well, thank you, St. Michael. I believe this is the next button that is the correct one to push. All right. Well, good morning. So far, so good. Haven't messed anything up. It is indeed July the 4th, and if I didn't have to go to work later today, I'd shamelessly be having a little whiskey in my coffee here, because America. Steve, the moderator in chief, as it were, says, "Morning all, carry the spirit of the day with you always. Tax, protest, treason against tyranny, etc." Yeah, guys, don't forget, the thing that kicked off the American experiment was a relatively minor tax on tea. And there's a pretty fascinating history involved with all that, where the crown deliberately manipulated the price of tea to the point to where it would be cheaper for the colonies to buy it and pay the tax, because, stupid Americans, right? They'll just drink their tea. And that ended up being such a thumb in the eye. It wasn't actually that big of a financial burden. It wasn't actually that big of a gain for the crown. But it was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was an insult. And it was one insult too many. And then the crown did that overreaction thing that authoritarian governments have a tendency to do, sent troops over, started shooting civilians, and then that was a ball game. A small percentage of the country decided, yep, there's gonna be a country. So, yeah. Oh, no, Chris, right? He held it down for a couple of days while I was out on mission. That is so flattering. I was out shooting people. I guess that means I was out on mission. But no, I had a gig. And now it's my turn. I get to, well, I don't have control issues. I just have control. So let's say Happy Independence Day to St. Michael of Cigarillo. Patrick Brown, Scrimshaw Rose, already mentioned Steve Rodemeyer, but Banhammers R Us is in the house. Scrimshaw Rose. Let's see. Oh, Danny. Good morning, Danny. And then Dan Burks. Good morning. Okay. Let's see. We have a Dave Bowen. And then, let's see. Oh, look. More color commentary from Steve. Pays to recall, too, that this wasn't an uprising of the poor. This was an upper class risking everything for an idea with intent to benefit all. Yeah, that's man, and we'll talk about it some today. We're gonna do a basic meme review, just kind of have fun with it. It's something we're gonna talk about later. The left is so selective when they do choose to tell the truth. It's only the parts of it that benefit them, and then they'll zero in on things and they'll connect things together that were never intended to be connected together. Like, for example, that the American Revolutionary War was was fought by poor people exclusively. And there were poor people that fought in the Revolutionary War. Don't get it twisted. It got to the point to where you wanted the redcoats, the absolute... Are we far enough in? We're going to say the absolute hell out of your town. But as far as who organized it and everything, some of the founding fathers lost children to overseas prisons, lost huge financial holdings. I mean, you want to talk about risking everything. There were some of the signers of the Declaration of Independence that started out with big families and lots of money, and then by the end of the Revolution had almost no family and almost no money. So that's a hell of a thing to... You know, when you talk about, oh, man, white people just do whatever they want. I am not a white identitarian, but I am tired of the anti-white identitarian stuff that goes on. Like, somehow the founding fathers were invalid because of that. But let's be clear, it was rich white dudes that risked their own personal fortunes to found this country. Miss me with all your 1619 Project bullshit, because that's what it is. Bullshit. Now, Dave Bowen says Chris is out dumping tea in the river. That's funny, Dave. And something Chris might actually engage in if you gave him the opportunity. All right, so let's get into it. I'm just gonna start with. Okay. Would y'all still eat it? My name was Chloe. I wanted to live. Your personal choice killed me. Don't buy it. Well, I would look for one with my name on it like those Coca-Cola bottles. Yeah, look. One of the things that that vegans and lefties have in common, despite the obvious overlap, okay? They think they know better than you, have no problem preaching to you, and they use emotion to try and manipulate you. Like, you could just say, this cow is a living thing, maybe don't eat it. But no, they have to put on that, my name is Chloe, and I wanted to live. Look, let's be clear, it was a cow. And let me tell you something about cows. Cows don't know they're cows. I know I'm a human. You know you're a human. Cows don't know they're cows. Your dog does not know it's a dog. Okay? It loves you. Okay? It is your friend. It is your pet. Dave Bowen, I would never speak ill of Kermit and his zoomies. Okay? But Kermit doesn't know he's a dog. Okay? He just likes to run and chase squirrels and get pets from you. It's that simple. All right. Moving on. Oh, okay. Here we go. Steve says, I don't understand the ridiculous guilt for being the top of the food chain. I think that comes from some people just can't handle the fact that hierarchies exist. Just period. They do. One of the things that the left wants to do is to eliminate the hierarchy. Oh, we'd all be equal if we just eliminate the hierarchies. But the problem is, you can't. Hierarchies are part of the natural order of things. If you were to eliminate the currently existing hierarchy, a new one would replace it. The left would tell you that hierarchies only exist because of authority or nepotism. Now, there is some powerful class that is in place, and it is in their best interest to enforce the hierarchy so they can stay at the top of the hierarchy. But they ignore the fact that hierarchies end up having some degree of merit in them. Even in some of the most brutal and evil regimes, like in Soviet Russia, you could be a big enough piece of shit communist to move up through the communist ranks. So there's a weird guilt thing with hierarchy there, and I think it's because they've been lied to about the nature of hierarchies their entire life. Okay, now, there's a guy in my DMs that's just a little too nice and he seems boring. Oh, I found an exciting guy who's great at sex and makes me feel dangerous. We didn't use any contraceptives, and now I'm pregnant with the baby of a guy who won't return my calls or texts. All men should have mandatory vasectomies. I'm sure you guys have seen some version of the, oh, I tell you what, all men have mandatory vasectomies until they decide they want to be a father. Ooh, you don't like that? So you do understand my body, my choice. Okay, all right. First of all, that's stupid, okay? We said this on our live stream about, with Roe v. Wade, where we drank maybe a little too much scotch. If you're actually suggesting that sperm is the most important component in pregnancy, okay, we'll roll with that argument, but it's not going to end where you think it's going to end. And besides, a proactive surgery is not the same thing as choosing to A, abstain, or B, use protection. Does protection occasionally fail? Yes. But not normally. Look, the truth is, you could have sex every day. Like every day. And use a condom every time you do it. And you will probably never, ever, ever get pregnant. Just full stop, period, end of sentence. It is what it is. Oh, you don't like condoms, your man doesn't like condoms, your man is like, I don't want to wear a condom. Let me tell you something, honey. And this is just a fact. Like, you guys are real big on lecturing us about consent. Here's some consent, okay? If that guy won't wear a condom after you ask him to, he's not following consent. That's just how it works. Okay. Let's see. We had, looks like Danny Pitt joined us. Good morning. Happy 4th. Okay. Next. No, what'd I do? Doing a fail. I'm not real sure. Now. Aha! This one is just funny to me. How much would it cost to buy a singing ensemble? You mean a choir? Fine. How much would it cost to acquire a singing ensemble? Oh, Star Trek and dad puns all in one, ladies and gentlemen. That is... Oh, and it's a musical pun, too. If you're the fan that loves musical puns above all other puns, you're welcome. This one was just for you. And, here we go. Here we go. Dave Bowen says no condom, no ass. That's, yeah. Latest hero of the left. Like, I can't even remember her name off the top of my head. I knew it, like, it was one of those things, like, 10 minutes before the show. But I now think of her as Smollett. Just the latest version of it. And so we've got Amber Heard, Christine Ford, Jussie Smollett, and God, I'm actually blanking on her name. I'm sure somebody in the chat will help me out with that. Here's the deal. One of the things I keep going back to thank you, Cassidy. Thank you, chat. God, it is nice to have a smart chat, y'all. It really is. One of the things I always go back to is the whole Russia helped Donald Trump steal the 2016 election. I try and take any piece of information like that and really, really, really try and look at it with an open mind. Because, I mean, you never know. Because I've had it happen live on this show where I had some bias come up and slap me in the face and I was just incorrect. And the thing about being in the cave is you never... The philosophical cave. The thing about being in the cave is you never ever really leave. I really think that life is just an endless series of caves. And then you realize this is the latest round of shadow puppets. I need to go up another level and go up another level. So I try not to get locked into my own biases. So when I hear a ridiculous claim like that, I actually try and examine it. And then somewhere around the time they tried to say that Jeff Beauregard Sessions was part of the Trump-Russia thing, that was where it lost me. That was absolutely where it lost me. I was like, nope. I'm pretty sure that the senator from Alabama named Beauregard ain't got nothing to do that is pro-commie. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say that doesn't make sense. And then what'd he do? Well, he met with Russian ambassadors. Hold up, swole up. You're telling me that a senator met with an ambassador? So he was doing his job. Uh-huh. Okay. And that's sort of the same thing here. Every single one of these people is a liar, and every single one of these people has a personal or political motivation. They've got an axe to grind, and they would all try and tell stories with a lot of emotion behind them. Like, it's no accident that 2 of the 4 of these are professional actors. Remember that, okay? But they've all got an axe to grind. They've all got a narrative they're trying to spin. And they lie. And as you listen to them, the fact that they're lying should become obvious. Okay, like with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. She wants to say that Johnny Depp is some drugged out psychopath that abused her. Okay, fine. I'll accept your premise. Bring me your evidence. Oh, okay, turns out he recorded you hitting him and him not hitting you. Le whoops. And then the thing with Jussie Smollett, like, seriously, downtown Chicago's MAGA country? Sure thing, pal. Sure thing. And then Christine Ford here, like, Brett Kavanaugh has a spotless record until it's time to join the Supreme Court. And even though she's afraid of claustrophobic spaces and flights, she could take flights to Fiji, but she can't take flights to Washington, D.C. And then, of course, Cassidy here, saying that Trump grabbed a steering wheel. Like, y'all, here's the thing, and this is one of the hardest things for me about dealing with people that are firmly entrenched on the left. I don't understand how you missed this. Like, I don't understand how you heard, for example, Jussie Smollett's story about it being, 0 degrees or whatever it was in Chicago, but he got splashed with liquid bleach, and somehow it was MAGA country, and they wrapped a noose around his neck at 2 o'clock in the morning, and they called him, like, the N-word and the F-word, and knew that he was on Empire. Like, how many of you didn't even know the show Empire existed before Jussie Smollett got attacked? And then he goes on and he does that Robin Wright interview that's just painful, like he's clearly, like, just trying to win an Oscar. I don't understand how people on the left can hear that and not understand, maybe we shouldn't take this seriously. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I should ask a few more questions about this. Like, it didn't take the cops very long to be like, we think this guy's full of shit. And let's not forget, okay, it's very important that the imagery in this meme includes them all raising their hand or putting their hand over their heart, because they're swearing to tell the truth. And y'all, that is some straight up Saul Alinsky shit. They use our system against us. Patrick has a fantastic comment up there. He says they're all professional actors, Cam. Only the pay scales differ. I think that is a fair comment, and yeah, if I think, yes, there you go, Patrick. Thank you for your value-added commentary. When you see a left-wing meme, oh. Yes, because the left simply can't meme. And Styx Hexenhammer, whether or not he's your cup of tea, he's a fantastic analyst. A lot of us at the BFM listen to him. Don't always agree with him, but listen to him. He's got well thought out points, and he's going to give you much more honest political analysis than anything you're going to get off CNN or Fox News or whatever. He talks about left-wing memetics, that it's not just that there has to be truth in it, but it's because of the way the left and the right in this country, especially currently, organize themselves. When you see left-wing memes, they usually come from a top-down idea that is false. It is literally being astroturfed out there. When you see a groundswell of a meme from the right, it's because it comes from an honest emotional place on the right. It comes from an individual and it spreads to another individual organically. So it's not just that, as St. Michael says, that the left-wing memes are cringy. They're cringy because there's a level of artifice to them. Like, if you've ever seen the episode of Rick and Morty where all the Jerry clones are patting each other on the back, telling them good job, that's what a left-wing meme is. Whereas right-wing memes are actual memes. They're actual thoughts and emotions that take place and get distilled down into a single image and passed around with us. And they have a tendency to be funny and offensive because they cut to the nerve of things that left-wing memes do not. Like, for example, hello, Joe. It's me, Corn Pop. Does anybody else just kind of have a man crush on Clarence Thomas right now? Because I do. I admit it. And so, yeah, this is kind of funny, and it's also clever, and it's the kind of thing that comes from how's the hair on your legs? Yes, exactly. Thank you, Pitt Danny. Or Danny Pitt, rather. But yeah, this is funny. And it's funny because somebody, was in their living room on a meme generator and they just went, you know what? I can combine these two things together and people will get it. Obviously, Clarence Thomas is not the guy Joe Biden supposedly almost got into a fight with like 60 years ago at a public swimming pool. But it's still funny. It is. Okie dokie. Companies on July 1st. Man, yeah, I'm really sorry I couldn't have been here on July 1st because I would have said all sorts of snarky things like this. And I know it was a Firearms Friday, and Chris, needed to talk about the accidental leak of gun records in California that I'm totally sure was absolutely an accident. But this meme, again, it's the kind of thing where when it comes from somewhere other than the top-down left, right? It's very... there's a lot of truth to it. And look, I won't say who because it's not my business, but I have family members that I am very close with that are not straight, okay? I don't have a problem with them, but I hate Pride Month. I detest Pride Month because it is... like when you go on Disney Plus and the kids section has got Pride shows that are age appropriate for 8-year-olds, I have a problem with that. I know gay people that have a problem with that, And the whole thing is just this astroturfed, like I think I referred to it as rainbow-colored lamb's blood on your painted door. So, the creeping death of cancellation will pass you by. And that's what it is. If they actually cared at all about the quote-unquote gay agenda, it wouldn't matter that it was July 1st. They'd have that rainbow flag up all year long. Even if it's just for a branding thing. Even if they're just like Black Rifle Company and they're trying to... Black Rifle Coffee, and they're just trying to play a character. Well, they'd play the character all year long, right? It is what it is. Let's see. Looks like JDF joined us here late. Good morning to you, lady. Always fantastic to see you. Dave Bowen says, especially since Pride Month seems to last all year. Yes and no. I'll brazenly refer to it as the homosexual agenda. Never really goes away. And they push it further and further and further with ridiculous things like Drag Queen Story Hour, just as an example. But it's the month of June where everybody gets to virtue signal. I'm so down with the gays. And it's offensive to me. It's like hashtag free our girls. Did that hashtag rescue a single girl from Boko Haram? Or was it actually men with guns and maybe slightly questionable ethics that eventually rescued those girls from Boko Haram? And did they rescue all of them? Did they even rescue most of them? Or did those girls basically get sold into some type of sex slavery? Probably the sex slavery. That hashtag probably didn't... That hashtag didn't help anything. And finally, one more, kind of offensive, but it makes the point. If you're gay, why are you mad about Roe v. Wade? You don't get pregnant through having anal sex, Phil. This one, it's always confused me. Like, you see gay people get so... I've seen gay people get so upset over the Roe v. Wade thing. Like, gay men saying, oh, well, if you need to go camping at my house, you totally can, and I won't ask any questions about where you go during the day while you're camping at my house. Now, I say I don't understand why. I understand at least notionally why. Somehow they've tied everything together. It'd be like, oh, well, if they take away your abortion rights, your gay rights are next. Look, I've said this before, that I think the gay marriage decision was wrong. The states were already moving organically toward adopting gay marriage anyway. And I do think that it would have eventually spread to all 50 states. Even the most conservative among them. I really do. However, now that gay marriage is the law of the land, I really do not want the Supreme Court to come in and overturn it. This is different than abortion, okay? Because while gay marriage and abortion both are not specified in the Constitution, there is a matter of contract law, and contract law, English common law. I mean, we're talking about a legal system that goes back hundreds of years. And marriage is essentially a contract. And now that we recognize the fact that two people of the same sex can enter into a union, a contract, I don't want the government to have the authority to break it. I really don't. Now, that being said, to suggest that somehow because Roe v. Wade, which was bad law, got overturned, now all of a sudden you're not going to be able to buy contraceptives anymore. We might even get rid of interracial marriage and all that. A, I don't think that's terribly likely. And B, and really listen up. If that happens, that is more of you reap what you sow. If you want something to be the law in the land of this country, the Congress, the legislature, the branch of the government that controls the money, has to write a bill and make it law. Period. Just period. When you use the court to backdoor your agenda and force something down our throats that we didn't vote for, that we didn't want, like, hey, most of us, the vast majority of us, for example, don't want abortion in the third trimester. Just don't want it. But the fact that you kept piggybacking off a Roe to pass laws that said it was okay to abort babies in the third trimester, that was your fault. Stop using the court. You reap what you sow. Okay, here we go. Let's go back. I think Chris has joined us, but he's joined us under the East Atlanta video banner. Whoops. Let's see. St. Michael says gay marriage is unconstitutional. I would actually agree with that to a point, but we're here at the very end of the show, and I can't dig too much into it. Steve says, hey, you put him as host. Yeah, I know, right? The people didn't vote on it federally. Danny says 800 years of tradition. I think he's referring to contract law being part of English common law and the basis for court systems all over the world. Let's see, St. Michael says, like abortion, it should be passed down to the states for them to decide. That is actually, okay, so again, the gay marriage thing, that's actually where I was at. The states were ratifying it, and I do believe that over time, even the most conservative states would have ratified it. Like, if you got down to 45 states that ratified it, and you were the last 5 that hadn't, there'd be a lot of social pressure to ratify gay marriage. It just would have happened. There's no reason for an activist court decision to make it the law of the land. But whatever. Steve says he's got to go. Bye, Steve. Heterosexual girls get to foot the bill because it's illegal to ask gay men about things. Okay, I'm not even going to finish reading that. Don't want to get kicked off YouTube, but thanks, St. Michael. Yes. Okay. The people had no voice in gay marriage. Yes. Okay. So we'll end there. We're a few minutes over. Y'all, happy 4th. Okay. Don't let anybody shame you for being an American. Don't let anybody shame you for wanting to hang out with friends, family. I am going to blast Metallica playing the Star Spangled Banner. I was going to play it on the show, but I didn't want to get... We're getting copyright strikes on Facebook lately, so I didn't want to risk one of those. Michelle Ivy joined us right here at the end. Thanks for stopping by, Michelle. We're glad you could join us. But look, happy 4th. Enjoy your freedom. Do what you're going to do. Look, pro tip. The drunkest person at your party probably is not the one who needs to light the fireworks. I realize for a certain percentage of you, that is just the reality of the situation you find yourself in. But, the drunkest person at your party doesn't need to light your fireworks. All right, and that's a show. That's a good show. Chris should be back tomorrow. We should be back at full strength. We'll do Taco Tuesday, and he and I actually haven't discussed what we're doing tomorrow, so I can't offer you a teaser. So, happy 4th.